Okay, so there's this landmark piece of legislation out there that promises full UAP disclosure. But what if it's actually designed to fail from the get-go? We're going to break down the UAP Disclosure Act and a really sharp critique that says it's fundamentally flawed.
Now, this bill, the UAP Disclosure Act of 2025, has a goal that is incredibly clear and, really powerful. It's meant to force the complete public release of every single government record on unidentified anomalous phenomena. We're talking about a massive, sweeping attempt at transparency.
You'd think everyone would be on board with a goal that big, right? Well, not exactly. Despite the ambition, the bill has gotten some serious criticism. So in this explainer, we're going to dig into the specific arguments from researcher Mick West on why he thinks this particular bill is just not the right way to get UAP disclosure done.
All right, so first things first, to really get the critique, we've got to understand what the act itself is actually trying to do.
Okay, so the whole foundation of this bill, its entire reason for being is right here. It's essentially saying, hey, we've got credible testimony that the government is sitting on a ton of UAP records that have never seen the light of day. The thinking is, we need a new law with some real teeth to pry them loose.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The bill doesn't just kind of dance around the subject. It goes right for it, and it explicitly defines non-human intelligence as a potential source for UAP. This isn't just a word in a glossary, This specific language is a huge deal, and it becomes a core part of the entire debate.
And it doesn't stop there. It goes even further, defining technologies of unknown origin. We're talking materials, crash debris, vehicles, the whole shebang. And again, these definitions are the engine of the bill. They give it its power, but they are also, as we're about to see, absolutely central to the critique against it. Okay, so now that we've got the groundwork, let's jump into the central argument against the bill.
And there it is. Mick West lays it all out on the table. He isn't arguing against transparency itself, not at all. He's saying that this specific bill is the problem. So let's break down what he means by legally vulnerable and politically unworkable. So his first major point is that the act's most powerful parts, well, they would pretty much guarantee its own defeat, both in the courts and in the political arena. And here is the core conflict. The act would give the government the power of eminent domain, which is the right to seize private property over any supposed alien tech or biological evidence. The critique here is that this is basically a legal poison pill. It would immediately face constitutional challenges and just fierce opposition from very powerful agencies. And he also points to other provisions that are just asking for trouble. For instance, the bill tries to override parts of the Atomic Energy Act. He argues stuff like that is just going to provoke major institutional resistance, making the whole bill politically toxic and pretty much dead on arrival.
The second part of the critique goes even deeper, though. It actually questions the very foundation the bill is built on.
So this is the crucial point.
The bill's language, the stuff we saw in those definitions earlier, it treats the existence of non-human intelligence and exotic tech as if it's already a proven fact. It assumes the conclusion. The critique argues this just puts the cart way before the horse. It's written to collect evidence of something that hasn't been established, instead of investigating the question itself.
So if he's against this act, what's the alternative? Well, he offers a different path forward, one that's based on historical precedent.
He proposes a much simpler, leaner system that's modeled on the JFK Records Act. The focus here is not on seizing exotic materials, but just on collecting and declassifying government records. It avoids all the controversial powers of the UAP Act and instead creates a really straightforward and, he would argue, politically workable process for transparency. This leaves us with two very, very different approaches to get into the same goal of UAP transparency. Let's just compare them side by side.
And this really shows the core dilemma, doesn't it? The UAP Disclosure Act is a top-down, high-risk approach. It aims to seize physical stuff based on a pretty dramatic premise. The alternative is more of a bottom-up, records-focused approach. It might be less ambitious, but it's designed to be legally sound and actually achievable in the real world of politics.
Ultimately, this whole debate highlights a really fundamental question. When you're trying to get to the truth on a topic as complex as UAP, what's the smarter play? Is it better to aim for everything all at once, even if you risk getting nothing? Or is a more step-by-step focused approach more likely to actually get us some real answers? That is the question at the very heart of this entire debate.